It's a new video from you-know-who. Yes, sir.
So I'm not someone that's super into anime, but I have watched some of the big ones like JoJo and I'm going to be talking about anime, specifically My Hero Academia, specifically one arc in My Hero, the Gentle Criminal arc. This arc was by far my favorite part of the anime. And yes, I mean the Gentle Criminal arc, not the whole school festival arc. Why? Well, to be honest, I think the festival part is boring. I don't like characters just hanging around. I mean, the students want to do a festival. Cool, I guess. If you like stuff like that, cool, that's fine. But I don't. So I'm just going to talk about the Gentle Criminal part. So, what is the Gentle Criminal arc? I'll do a brief summary. If you don't want to hear the summary, skip to this part of the video. I mean, I'll probably put the timestamp here, if I remember. We're first introduced to Gentle and his partner La Brava when they're robbing a store while La Brava records. In the middle of the robbery, 5 heroes show up in order to stop Gentle. Gentle has La Brava cut the footage, and we see the aftermath. Gentle kinda bodied them, not just by himself though. You can see the effects of La Brava's quirk too. Gentle leaves the money behind as he didn't actually care about the money. It then moves to La Brava and Gentle talking about their video views, relatable, and Gentle trying to think of something so grand that everybody will watch. Then we learn about Gentle's true motives. He doesn't randomly commit crimes. He tries to serve justice in his own way. Not like kill people he feels deserves to die kind of way, but in a this store lied to consumers and didn't get punished, so I will rob it way, even though he didn't even end up taking the money. But that's not his main motive. He certainly does want to help serve justice, but his main motivation is getting recognition. He wants to be known and remembered, but this is another thing I'll get back to later. La Brava complains that Gentle has been making videos for 6 years and is still not very well known, although he's famous enough that the store employee knew who he was. She brings up Stain here, who got massively famous, or infamous I should say, from a video about his life that he didn't even make. We also get a bit more insight on how the relationship between La Brava and Gentle works. La Brava is obsessed with Gentle, kinda like Harley Quinn and the Joker, but unlike Joker and Harley Quinn, Gentle seems to be genuinely nice to La Brava. We next see the two while Gentle is finishing up his plan. He's been working on it for so long, he stopped drinking his tea for a week. He explains to La Brava that heroes have been receiving more and more public scrutiny, and if the heroes could even comprehend the situation, they wouldn't have the school festival to begin with. When La Brava questions the plan, Gentle tells her that he believes his plan will actually help the heroes of the future grow stronger by inspiring them. He goes over the path they'll take to get to the school with La Brava. During their route, they'll stop by an old coffee shop and drink Gold Tip's Imperial Tea. After he finishes going over the plan, he tells La Brava how great she is and that he loves her. During this speech, we see a flashback of La Brava meeting Gentle that I'll go over later. We get back to Gentle and La Brava while following Deku. He had to leave to get stuff for the festival. I don't know, the festival stuff is so boring I couldn't pay attention. While Gentle and La Brava are walking away, Deku mentions how the house they came from must be a cafe. This excites Gentle and he starts to talk to Deku because he enjoys talking to fellow connoisseurs. Gentle's voice makes Deku recognize him from a video he saw of Gentle committing a crime in an earlier episode. Deku decides to fight Gentle because if an alarm goes off during the festival, no matter the cause, it will be forced to shut down. This is where we learn what Gentle's plan and quirk actually are. His quirk is elasticity. He can make anything elastic, even the air. He uses this quirk to absolutely kick Deku's ass in the beginning of the fight, but Deku quickly makes it even. What's interesting about the construction site part of the fight is that Gentle puts an innocent bystander in danger, though he says he would have saved him if Deku didn't. And I mean, there's no reason to assume otherwise. Everything we've seen of Gentle up to this point and afterwards shows that he is genuinely a good person, so I don't think he actually would have let the guy die. Finally, the fight moves to woods behind the school. When Deku pins Gentle and La Brava to the ground, La Brava finally uses her quirk, which empowers whoever she loves. The more she loves somebody, the more power they get. And since she is madly in love with Gentle, he gets supercharged. We also get 2 more flashbacks here. Eventually, Deku defeats Gentle. La Brava has a breakdown when she sees Deku holding Gentle down, and Gentle, not wanting La Brava to get punished for being his accomplice, knocks Deku away and tells the heroes that come that he fell and is turning himself in. The final scene of Gentle and La Brava are them at the police station. The person interviewing Gentle tells him that it's good he turned himself in, that they can change, but they have to want to. That was a bit longer than I thought it would be. I really did try to keep it as brief as I could. Anyways, you know how I said I'll talk about all the flashbacks later? Well, later is now. Gentle Criminal's backstory flashback shows us that he is what Deku could have become if he wasn't rewarded for doing what Gentle was punished for. They both tried to do a hero's job, but while Deku got recognition and even a quirk from the #1 hero for intervening, Gentle had his life ruined. They did the same thing, but due to sheer luck, it turned out beneficial to one and detrimental to the other. Imagine if, when Deku went to save Bakugo from the mud guy I'm too lazy to Google the name of, and instead of inspiring All Might, he caused more harm to Bakugo, or even his death. How would that impact Deku? How would it make the world see him? He'd end up in a pretty similar situation to Gentle, although from what we've seen, I don't think Deku's mom would kick him out of the house. Gentle was never a bad guy. He wanted to be a hero and use his quirk for good, just like Deku. He intervened in a situation he shouldn't have, just like Deku, but he didn't have an All Might. And instead of being rewarded for being brave and trying to help like Deku, he was instead shunned and his family was harassed to the point that they kicked him out of their house, and presumably their lives. And after a few years of just aimless drifting around, he sees one of his old classmates became a pro hero. When he tries to say hi, his classmate doesn't even remember him. This is the point where Gentle Criminal decides to become a quote-unquote villain. He wants to be remembered, and he wants to feel like he did something in the world. Even after the incident that ruined his life, he still ended up being an unmemorable nobody. Even when he's a villain, he still attempts to help people, such as punish a corporation for selling expired foods to consumers, but he also still tries to maintain the villain look. By robbing a store at knife point, he doesn't really affect the company at all, but he at least tries. His main problem is including innocence in his plans. You could possibly use the old guy during the Deku fight as proof that he's really a villain at heart, but he says he would have saved the guy he put in danger if Deku didn't, and yeah, I see no reason to not believe him. We see that he still ultimately wants to do good, so I don't think he would kill a guy just to win a fight. Hell, the fight is all about stopping him from getting into the school, where his only plan is literally just to sneak in, prove he sneaked in, then sneak back out. He's not out to stop the school festival or anything. He simply wants to do something he knows will give him the infamy he craves. He also believes that his stunt will help the UA students by showing the security flaws and making them stronger. Even though he says this, it's obvious that it's not really on his mind at all when fighting Deku. One of the biggest differences between Deku's fight with Gentle and his fight with other villains is the battle of will going on. Deku versus Gentle is all about who has the stronger conviction. Gentle and his desire to gain notoriety, or Deku and his desire to make Eri and his class happy. Their wills are opposite of each other. Gentle is fighting for himself, while Deku is fighting for others. Despite this sounding like Deku is obviously in the right, in actuality it's pretty understandable for both sides. Deku's main reason for fighting is to give Eri something to smile at. Gentle's main reason for fighting is so he can gain notability, so he can know his life is worth something and he leaves behind a legacy. He doesn't want to stop the festival or ruin Eri's day. He plans the whole thing around not hurting anybody. When you realize that the whole fight is simply over a school festival, it really makes it seem less bad. Now, if Gentle was planning on doing something evil like destroying the school or something, then yeah, you could say Gentle has no right to fight, but there's great care to show that you can empathize with both, or at the very least understand where both of them are coming from. While Gentle is the main antagonist of the arc, La Brava is still a very important part of it. She's Gentle's partner in crime, and she's in love with him. Or she just loves him platonically. I guess it's up for debate. I mean, I personally think it's pretty obvious that La Brava loves Gentle romantically, but I could always be wrong. So, she is constantly praising Gentle and helping him plan and record his crimes. She uses her quirk to get her and Gentle out of dangerous situations. What makes La Brava interesting is how her quirk affects her. Due to the nature of her quirk, she easily falls in love. This is why she's so obsessed with Gentle. What would have been a normal crush turned into a creepy obsession with a boy in middle school or junior high or whatever it's called in Japan. When she overheard the boy talking about her, she became depressed for years. But when she saw a video of Gentle, she almost immediately admired him. I wouldn't say she immediately became infatuated with him, but I mean, she found his address and went to him because she saw him in a video. She's not the only example of something like this. Toga is another character who, instead of getting the help she needed, was shunned because her quirk made her obsessed with blood and made her weird. It's clear that both Toga's and La Brava's quirks have influenced their personalities and changed how they act, but because their quirks are seen as creepy by society, they aren't given the help they need. As a result of their quirks and how society doesn't actually care about your quirk unless you can use it to be a hero, they both became severely damaged people that can't handle their obsessions that are influenced by their quirks. Her quirk affects her mental state, and she's seen as weird and creepy for something she can't help. She can't control who she loves, and her quirk amplifies that. And due to the stigma of quirks like hers and Toga's, she doesn't get the help she needs. This is why she joins Gentle. This is a good time as any to talk about the relationship between La Brava and Gentle. After all, the relationship between them is one of the biggest parts of the arc. She does some creepy behavior in finding his address and showing up to his house, but even then, Gentle isn't mean to her. He invites her in, and when she eventually wants to join him, he doesn't want her involved due to the illegal nature of his plans. But he eventually relents and she becomes his partner. He's genuinely nice to her because he's a nice guy, not that kind. He draws circles under his eyes because he notices La Brava being self-conscious about the circles under hers, and he wants her to feel better. And it's not like Gentle doesn't understand or realize that La Brava is in love with him. He knows, and he loves her back. La Brava clearly loves Gentle romantically, while with Gentle it's more debatable. You can make a case that he loves her romantically as well, or that he loves her platonically. Either way, he does genuinely love her, and honestly, I don't think it matters whether he loves her platonically or romantically. We know he cares for her, and she knows he cares for her, so it doesn't matter how he loves her, unless she wants kids or something. Then it gets weird. Despite all these good qualities, their relationship is unhealthy. It was born from La Brava's obsession with Gentle and Gentle's ego and want to be remembered, so the relationship is built off of unhealthy behaviors from both. Gentle eventually realizes this after Deku defeats him, and he knows that La Brava won't leave him despite him asking. So while Gentle and La Brava do actually care about each other, they show it by negatively reinforcing each other. La Brava is constantly fueling Gentle's ego by praising him and helping him continue his schemes, while Gentle never pushes back against La Brava's praising and admiration, but just fans her obsession with him. But I think this is a good thing. I believe that if Gentle and La Brava were to return, we could see how the relationship has improved since the Deku fight. In case you haven't noticed yet, Gentle and La Brava are examples of how the current society in the My Hero world pushes people that aren't perfect heroes to the side, and instead of trying to help people with harmful quirks, they'll just be ostracized. While you could argue if Gentle was in the right or wrong to intervene when he saw someone in danger, I think everybody can agree that he paid far more than he should have. I mean, he had good intentions, and while yeah, he caused a guy pain and should pay for that, I don't think having his life ruined is very fair. Again, he did the same thing Deku did, but Deku got rewarded while Gentle didn't. La Brava didn't know how to handle her feelings, and her quirk only made her more susceptible to abnormal behavior. It really is tragic, yet amazing, that these two characters met due to their issues that were ultimately caused by the My Hero Society not wanting to help them with, or even address, their problems. So unless there is some big change to how the world views heroes and quirks, there will be more Gentle criminals and there will be more La Bravas.